Welcome to the Women of Distance podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Kramer. You're listening to our first special project of the year, the Black Canyon 100K Women's Elite Field Preview, presented by SOAR Running. Black Canyon is the second golden ticket race opportunity for the 2026 Western States 100, and it is without a doubt the most competitive 100K race in the U.S. right now. Over the past several years, we have seen the women's race in all events get faster while the competitive depth gets deeper. This year's field consists of 2 Olympians, 2 world record holders, the defending champion and course record holder, and that's barely scratching the surface. Here at Women of Distance, our race previews are different. You'll hear from a deep field of athletes, including those who you may already recognize, those you may not, but should, and even familiar faces who are new to this race or distance. You won't hear outside opinions, analysis, or predictions, but rather directly from each athlete, their own words, thoughts, feelings, and goals heading into the February 14th race. Because of the depth, we've split this preview into 2 separate episodes, one with veterans who have run the Black Canyon 100K before, and one with first-timers coming to the course and or the distance for the first time. Both episodes are currently available, so please be sure to tune into both. The depth of this project is important to me, and I'm so thankful for the support of SOAR Running to help make it happen. SOAR Running design and produce running apparel that does justice to the commitment and passion of runners globally, encompassing textile innovation, pioneering design technology, sports science, and the real-world experience of runners. Their collections are designed specifically for running, high-performance racing, and also off-road adventure and endurance. Check them out at soarrunning.com. That's SOAR running.com. Women of Distance is also supported by Open Fuel, responsible sports nutrition to fuel your adventure. Check out their products and their mission at openfuel.co and use code WOD for 20% off your order every single time. We also appreciate our partnership with Summit Roasters. Good coffee, roasted fresh in my hometown. Visit summit-roasters.com and use code WOD15 for 15% off every time. You can find all of these links and codes in the show notes and know that we really appreciate you supporting those supporting us. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening. I am hanging out with Ann Flower just a couple weeks ahead of the Black Canyon 100K. Ann, how are you doing?
I'm great. Super excited for it. Having a really good training block and can't wait to get to Arizona to race.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about it. Just a quick introduction for those who are maybe have not heard your name before or are meeting you for the first time. Recent history only, which is going to get dense here. We were just talking before we hit record. You most recently perhaps are the champion of the Leadville 100 mile, where you also broke a historic course record on a historic course. Not to be missed, prior to that, you were also the champion at the Leadville Marathon and the Silver Rush 50 leading up to the 100. You then turned around and went to Tunnel Hill a couple of months later and ran the 50-mile world record. Now you are coming to the Black Canyon 100K for the first time. Tell us a little bit about what inspired your choice to come to Black Canyon.
Yeah, so I love racing in the desert. Moab was my first love. So most of my initial trail running was in Moab just to get to places people can only get on their feet and to have aid stations along the way. So Arizona makes sense in the fact that I love the desert. I think there's something magical about the energy there. Coming into a really exciting 2026, it's the perfect start to the build. So Black Canyon is obviously a golden ticket race. It's also probably the most competitive start line that I've ever been a part of. So when I looked toward opportunities to start off the season, it was a perfect fit.
I love that. I love that. Talk a little bit about how your training is going and maybe what you are doing or have changed coming off of that Tunnel Hill flat, fast, non-technical course and coming to a different style here.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to zig and zag back and forth, where Leadville was very much a high mountain adventure. And then 2 months later, I did Tunnel Hill, which was fast and flat. I hope that I've kept up my leg speed because much of Black Canyon is very fast and very runnable. But I have been spending more time on some more technical trails, making sure that I feel comfortable covering a distance that is somewhat chunky. I was down in Phoenix 2 weeks ago and I was So humbled and impressed by how technical it is and that everything around you is so sharp. So between the cacti and the rocks and that sort of thing, it's going to be pretty epic. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talk a little bit about maybe that, like what you have in your time, not only like on the course and in the area, but also in the desert in general. What kind of things have you learned about racing in that environment that you are using in your prep for this race?
Yeah, certainly everything in the desert is unpredictable. It'll probably be a little cold to start and then it'll probably get up into the mid 70s. So it's kind of preparing yourself for every different condition that could happen weather wise, but also thinking about the sun and the heat and how dry and arid it is down in the desert. There's not too many crew points for the Black Canyon race. So right now I'm debating what I need to carry because I'm as little as possible in terms of what I like to have on my body while I'm racing. So that's a consideration. And then making sure that I can stay hydrated and stay fueled.
That leads right into my next question. What does your logistics and setup for the day look like? Are you using crew? Are you using pacers?
I am using crew. My husband will be down there being my crew chief. We're probably also going to stay in our van, which is also fantastic. So we're very mobile, we're very self sufficient, and he's a fantastic help. So I'll have him at certain aid stations getting me prepared for the next leg of the race. I'll be fueling with Never Second because that's just what works best for me, and it's who I'm partnered with now. So he'll be handing me as many gels as I can stomach throughout the race. And
Will
then
you be
pacers,
using
no, I
pacers?
will not be using a pacer.
Okay. All
There'll be
right.
plenty of fast people there. I think the pacer is going to be whoever is one person ahead of me. And then when I catch them, they have the opportunity to be the pacer for a while.
Totally. I love that perspective. And
Yeah.
you're totally right. The field is very, very deep for this race. Talk a little bit about your personal goals for the race.
Ooh. So I think I have a few different goals. I want to run a really smart, solid race. I think the second half of Black Canyon is deceptively hard, especially when your legs are tired to be able to cover the more technical, more uphill parts of the trail. So I'm hoping to get to Black Canyon City feeling strong and ready to essentially run an entirely new, different 50K. I think the first half should be pretty manageable. I don't expect many issues there. So my goal is to feel really strong in the second half and finish strong. Time wise, I think I'd like to go in the mid eights. I think that's doable. I think I should be able to get there. Historically, that would be a victory, but I don't know if it will be this year. And yeah, I don't think the race will start until at least halfway. So I'm going to take it pretty conservative for the first half. And then, yeah, I want to race some people for the second half.
I like that perspective. We have to ask the question. Obviously, there are 3 golden tickets available at this race. If one comes to you, are you accepting it?
Yes, I am accepting a golden ticket if it comes my way.
Awesome. I'd love to hear it. Okay. And last question, most important question of the day, maybe the hardest also. What is your current favorite running song?
Ooh. So I'm all over the board when it comes to running music. I usually try to start off my runs with a podcast or a book just to kind of get my head engaged, and then music is my reward somewhere in the second half of the last little bit. I think probably my all-time hype song is Thunderstruck by AC/DC. It's been at the start line of so many epic races I've been at, most of them road races. But I think the first time it really hit me was at the Columbus Marathon. And they set off fireworks as you start, and then you run to AC/DC Thunderstruck. Otherwise, I usually lean toward more like ska and rock type music. So I think Rancid's Fall Back Down is one that I've been a huge fan of since, like, I don't know, middle school, but it still slaps.
Love that. I love that style. Both of those.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And thank you so much for joining me and chatting all things Black Canyon before the race. I will be really excited to see how the race goes for you. We'll be cheering you on along the way and hope these last couple weeks are smooth sailing up until race day, through
Cool.
race day.
Yeah. Thanks so much. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I am hanging out with Jennifer Lichter ahead of the Black Canyon 100K. Jen, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks.
I'm glad to be chatting with you. You are just back from Arizona, so you got a little taste of the sun and the temperatures and all good things. Real quick intro. I think over the past couple years, most folks might be familiar with you as a 50K and under mountainous type athlete. You are stepping up to the 100K distance. The last time that we talked, you were gearing up for world championships, and you had talked about wanting to start to go a little bit longer and explore the longer distances. I want to make sure to mention too, though, that you have a history with flatter, faster running races as well. JFK 50, you were the champion just a couple years ago, 2023. You've been second at Canyons 50K, which is also a fast race, and now coming around to Black Canyon 100K. That was a long interview or a long introduction. I want to circle back a little bit. Like I said, last time we talked was right before World Champs. You were selected for the long trail team and were very excited and amped up to race and did not get the chance to start. Talk a little bit about what happened and how you're doing now.
Yeah, so I was scouting the course about 2 weeks before the race. This is in the Pyrenees, and yeah, I was doing a last long run, and yeah, about a mile from my car, I stubbed my toe or tripped on a rock. Who knows what happened? But essentially, tried to catch myself, and my left foot like slipped forward, and I landed in a half split. And so it was like a very like acute injury to my hamstring. And I never got an MRI, but it was very clear that I definitely strained it. I don't think I had fully torn the hamstring. I think if I had raced, I would have torn the hamstring. But it is something that even just a mild strain requires like 3 to 4 weeks to heal fully. And looking at that timeline, it was just like not enough time. And to try to push it would have landed me in a state of probably like injured for a couple months, and would have not set myself up for a successful 2026. And so it was kind of like taking my loss for what it was, and just using that like energy, and stoked to have to race the long trail until like the following season. And so yeah, that's kind of what happened. I was really bummed. Obviously I was there when it happened. It's not like it happened at home, so very very fresh. But having said all that, like I'm healed up. It did take about a month to heal fully. And then yeah, I feel like I've been pretty much consistently running since November now, and yeah, feeling really fit. I think the stoke is pretty much on the same level, if not more, because I feel like the last time I raced was Speed Goat in July, and so feeling a little bit like a dog on a leash, just like really excited to race, because it's been a while. So the work never stops, but really excited to just test the fitness for sure.
I love to hear it. I love that you're healthy again. I know that was challenging, especially as fired up as you were for that race in particular. But coming around to Black Canyon 100K, what made you choose this race specifically?
Well, I think it was, like going back to the Examine for Worlds. I was in a headspace where I was really wanting to test the distance and the time. And Worlds, would have been, I think Katie won just under 10 hours. So 10 hours is pretty much in the 100K category as far as time. And I told myself, like, if I feel really good finishing this long world, like for sure I'm gonna start doing 100Ks the following year, and doing the longer races. I've dedicated the past 4 years of my professional life to 50Ks, and just felt ready to like make that jump. And so when I got injured, essentially, I thought of like what is the closest race to this race, with giving my body the rest that it needs to fully heal and make a comeback that's sustainable, and I'm not pushing to like get re-injured. And Black Canyon seemed to be it. So I think traditionally I was thinking maybe to go down to Ultra Cape Town to do that 100K, but I think just the timeline and like the way my hamstring was, it was just not enough time. And so the next race that I felt could be really fun and exciting was Black Canyon. And I told a little bit in my mind for a few months, and then I finally decided to like pull the trigger and sign up and make it a goal, to like be for it to be my debut 100K race. And like the women, I think last year won in just a little over 8 hours. And I did Festival Templier in 2024, and that was 8 hours. It was a 50 miler. And so I've done that distance. So it felt like a really nice intro into like the 100K distance. So I'm the opposite. It was like longer, but the time I knew. And so, um, yeah, I think that's why I think it just happened to be in like the perfect time where I felt like I had completely healed from my hamstring and gotten in some really, really good training. So yeah, I'm really stoked, and I think I've seen it live streamed the past couple years, and it always looks really really fun, as I'm like training in the winter of
Yeah.
Montana. So yeah, it just felt like the perfect year, and like genuinely stoked to do it. So the call was there.
So, talk a little bit about how your training has changed, both specifically for this distance, but also for the course itself and the way that it runs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also perfect because in colder areas, like Montana, where you get normally, I say normally because we've had a pretty bad snow year, but where normally you can't really do much vert. And so a lot of my winter training revolves around road running. And so Black Canyon, its profile just kind of was perfect where I didn't have to worry about like where can I find elevation, where can I find a place where I can do vert. um, so I think it also fit perfectly with like the type of training that one does in winter when they live in a very like cold wintry climate. And yeah, so I think it is a lot of just like fast running. You're not like practicing power hiking or anything. It's definitely like you have to get used to just being tired on your feet and continuing to push the pace. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's compared to 50Ks, it's definitely like a little bit more of a chiller, not as much intensity, I think personally. And because you don't really need to be running a mile PR to do 100K, like that doesn't really make sense in any regard. So yeah, I think it's just really longer days, which I'm really stoked about. It's just more time outside, and I think also just like nutrition has been really huge. It's like I've had to learn how to properly fuel, because I think that is like I think everyone in the start line is going to be refit, and it's like who can take care of themselves the best. And yeah, so I think it's been like such a fun change to like what I've been doing the past 4 years, and it's made training really really fun in that regard because it feels like I'm a kid learning this new game. So yeah, it's been really fun.
It seemed like you were really ready for that in the fall, a little bit of a shift, a little bit of something new. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Coming back to that fueling piece, maybe, and taking care of yourself along the way, what does your crew support look like? And are you using pacers? You haven't, I don't think, done a race with the opportunity for pacers prior to
Mhm.
this. Yeah.
No. um and I'm honestly like I'm still kind of trying to figure out the pacing. I've reached out to a friend about the possibility of her pacing me. um how long and how much, I have no idea. I think it's something I'm also trying to figure out with my coach. You know, my first hesitation when my coach asked me if I wanted a pacer was, can they keep up? Like and like it's not about ego. It's more about like when I'm in a race, like I'm in a race and I don't want to have to worry about someone else, and that's
Mhm.
very very new to me. And so, and then also my hesitation was like, will it take away from my race experience? Like I think racing is racing for a reason, and I think pacers are good in some races, and I'm sure some people really benefit from them. But for me, it is like a learning curve. It is uh, like, will it be beneficial? And like one of the things that my coach brought up is it could be really good for just reminding you to like sip on your water or like take a gel. It doesn't have to be about like them pulling you faster. It has to be maybe about like they're making sure you're taking care of yourself. And so yeah, I think right now like I think I'm planning to have a pacer, but I don't know where in the race. Potentially, I'm still trying to figure that out. I want to say like probably closer to the end, since it will be new territory for me. So I might need like my friend to like make sure I'm like fueling and drinking and just keeping the gas on the pedal essentially. So yeah, the whole pacing thing is really new for me. But I feel like all my fears about it have been squashed down by common sense from my coach. So I feel a little bit better about that. But yeah, definitely like a new territory for sure.
Yeah, fair. How about your crew? Who is coming out to crew for you?
So right now, like my coach, John Fitz, and my fiance now, we got engaged this past fall, Nick Cornell, they'll be like my main crew, and my family's also coming. My fiance's family's also coming. But I think right now we're just gonna narrow down to like as few as people as possible, just to be very concise. But yeah, just like two people and a pacer. I think that's gonna be it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Okay,
Yeah.
loaded question. What are your personal goals for this race?
Personal goals. Obviously, I would love to podium. That is just like the competitive side of me. Um, the second goal is probably just to like. I think this is more for me. It's like come out of it really stoked for continuing this pursuit of like 100Ks. I am signed up for CCC, so I hope that I come out of this being like, yes, I will be continuing this 100K journey. Um, and yeah, I think it's just like to use my fitness as well and to compete, to like truly compete. Um, I would say those are like my primary goals is obviously do really well, use my fitness, and kind of come out of it, like really stoked to like continue the trajectory of longer racing.
I love that. All right, there are 3 golden tickets up for grabs at this race. If you earn one, are you going to accept it?
That's I feel like
Everybody wants to know the answer to
everyone
this
wants to
question.
know. I think I I always say first, like, I really want to finish that race and see how I feel because it is my debut. If I come out of that race and I do really well and everything goes perfectly, nutrition's nailed, pace is nailed, and I just genuinely feel like I'm ready for it, then I will definitely accept it. Now, if the opposite happens where I come out of that race, I totally derailed my nutrition. I'm like cramping up. I like bonked really bad. I'm just like, snot and crying at the finish. Um, Granted, I probably at that point won't get a golden ticket. So I'd probably just be like, no, there's no way. But, having said that, I think most likely if I do well and I get the golden ticket, I will probably say yes.
Exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, last question, most important question. What is your current favorite running song?
Oh my goodness. Um, that is a great question. Um,
You can think about it and message me back if you want to.
yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. Um, I just feel like it just constantly changes. Like if I like to do a Spotify discovery quite a bit, just so I don't get stuck in the same like songs and whatever. So I feel like I'll discover something and like listen to it for a week, and then I'll discover something the next week and then listen to that for a week. And so I think it just goes on and on. But yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that for you because I
Okay,
genuinely
fair.
don't know at this point. Yeah,
Totally fair. I can't remember what you said last time either. I'll have to look it up, but I feel like it was similar that you tend to just
yeah,
put on a list and let it
yeah,
run.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Jen, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with me. I'm really excited to cheer you on out there, see how the race goes for you, and best of luck with these last couple weeks until race day.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. And I'll see you there if you're gonna be
Yeah,
there.
I
Okay.
will be
Cool.
there. Yep.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
you out there.
Cool. Uh,
I want to take a moment to thank SOAR Running for their support of the Black Canyon 100K Women's Elite Field Preview Project. SOAR Running design and produce running apparel that does justice to the commitment and passion of runners globally. Encompassing textile innovation, pioneering design technology, sports science, and the real-world experiences of runners. Their collections are designed specifically for running, for high-performance racing, and also for off-road adventure and endurance. And that's what I'm most excited about. Their trail line is specifically designed to be technical and durable for long adventures. It is high performance trail gear, blending innovative fabrics and detailing for off road resilience, function, and endurance. SOAR's innovation and ground up approach to product development results in a new way of thinking about trail running apparel. Check them out at soarrunning.com. That's SOAR running.com. I am hanging out with Caitriona Jennings today. Caitriona, how are you doing?
I'm great, Lauren. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking your time. Just to give a very brief introduction here, you are joining us from Ireland at the moment, very shortly to be traveling over to Arizona for the Black Canyon 100K. For those who may or may not be familiar, you are a previous Olympic marathoner in the 2012 Olympic Games. You are also the Irish national record holder in the 50K and 100K. And most recently, you are the world record holder in the 100-mile distance at Tunnel Hill just this past year. You ran 12:37:04 for the world record 100 miles. Now you are coming to the Black Canyon 100K for your first time. What inspired you to choose Black Canyon?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Black Canyon. It seems to me, and I hope I don't stand corrected, that it's a pretty runnable trail. So I think it should be a good one. I've run a couple of trail runs before, but nothing as long as 100K. So I thought it might be nice to have a pretty runnable first 100K on my on the trail.
Okay, so how has your training changed or been modified to prepare for that? Coming off of, we don't call Tunnel Hill a road run, but it's not quite trail either. So how has your training changed to prepare for that difference?
So I think really, look, when I entered it, I thought I'd have much more opportunity to get out on the trails in Ireland. It hasn't really panned out that way. So my training has really continued on the roads, but I've added in more elevation gain as to prepare for the changes in elevation. But aside from that, not a huge difference, which I hope doesn't come back to bite me. But I'm kind of looking at this as an opportunity to just get out there, have some fun, see what it's like, see if I enjoy it, and if it's something that I might want to spend more time at.
Okay. Is there anything else that you're doing specific to prepare for the environment or the conditions coming from Ireland to the Sonoran Desert?
Not really, no. I'm hoping. I was actually in Arizona around this time last year for a work conference, and I felt the weather wasn't too bad at the time for me coming from Ireland. So hopefully I should be fine, unless it's exceptionally warm or unseasonably warm, in which case I assume it's going to be difficult for everyone. So hopefully it's, I'm not really at a disadvantage. I was in South Africa for a couple of weeks over Christmas, running there in their summer. So hopefully if it is warm, that training there will have stood to me.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Talk a little bit about what your goals are for this race, your personal goals.
Yeah, as I said, it's kind of an experiment of sorts, and I really just want to make sure that I enjoy it, that I have some fun along the way, that I'm really pleased to see such a strong female field there. I think it's a really good opportunity to compete against some of the best trail runners, see where I stack up. And really, for me, it's also a learning experience to see, where my weaknesses would lie, and if this is something that I'm going to pursue, what do I need to work on to get better and come back stronger.
So, with that in mind and sort of questioning, is this something you want to pursue? We know there are 3 golden tickets available at this race. Are you specifically interested in one, and or would you take it if you did receive one?
So Western States is a race that I really want to do. I think I'd be too ambitious to think that I would do it in 2026. I'd say I would, I expect I would need a little bit of trail experience behind me before I'm sufficiently prepared to do that race. If I had a dream day and I got one, yeah, I think I'd be very tempted to take it. But I realistically think that it's something that I would be hoping to run in 2027. So maybe this is a kind of a recce for a 2027 race where I might look for a golden ticket in that race and try and run Western in 2027.
Okay, I like that long view. Talk a little bit about your logistics for the day and support. Do you have crew that'll be out there, and are you planning to use pacers?
So yeah, my husband will come to support me on the day, and so he will crew for me. And I have still, I think I'm going to have a pacer, but I haven't fully confirmed yet. But a friend from the US has offered very kindly, and ideally, I would love to. I think I'll make the choice based on how I feel going into the race. So I think it would be nice to have some company out there towards the end of the race and see how that goes. I've never had a pacer before, so it's kind of going to be a new experience as well. And I don't know a lot about it, so I guess it would be good to try and see how that goes.
It's a unique opportunity for this distance specifically. I don't think a lot of 100Ks offer that opportunity. So to your point of kind of recceing and figuring this out, maybe that is an opportunity for you to try that and see if you like it or don't.
Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last question, my favorite question. What is your current favorite running song? Or song of any kind?
So I came across a song randomly recently called Oats in the Water, and I think it's like Ben Howard or someone that's the singer. It just kind of struck with me. It's not really it's definitely not a hype song because it's really mellow, but I just liked the music, and it just kind of for some reason struck a chord with me. So that's kind of current. If I'm like, oh, I need to listen to a song, that's the one I'll put on right now. Yeah, I don't usually listen to music when I'm running actually. So it's I think if I was to choose one, maybe pre-race or something, I think it would be that one.
Okay, I like it. I haven't heard it. I will have to look it up, but I like the mellow vibe. I think that sometimes that's helpful at a start line, especially when energy is running high.
Nerves.
Yeah. All right, Caitriona, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with me. I am excited to see you out in Arizona, and hope your last couple weeks here go smoothly and your travels are smooth, and we'll see you out in the desert.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you so much, Lauren. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me today.
Thank you. I am hanging out with Carla Molinaro. Carla, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Warmer than you, I think.
Yes, for sure. I am really excited to be chatting again. We've had a couple conversations recently. The first time we connected was for the Javelina 100. You were out in the Phoenix area for that just a few months ago. Ran in second place for a long bit of the day until things sort of fell apart and the day didn't go your way. But you pretty quickly decided that you were going to come back for the Black Canyon 100K. So here we are. And that is my first question. What inspired you to choose Black Canyon?
So I wanted to try again to get a golden ticket. So the options were pretty much this or Tarawera, and I quite liked running out here the last time I was here, so kind of landed with that. And New Zealand seemed like it was very, very far away, even though this was a 25-hour journey to get here. So I don't know quite what I was thinking.
To be clear, joining us not from Cape Town right now, but make your home in Cape Town right now in the Phoenix area for training. Elaborate on that a little bit. What kind of things do you feel like you have learned over the past couple months that you have applied to both kind of your training and your preparation, and also maybe to the way you're approaching the race?
I think going into Javelina, that course on paper really suited me, and I think I potentially went in a little bit overconfident, having not really done much stuff on the trails. I was like, it's very much like a road runner's course. I can run quite fast in it. And then, yeah, like as you said earlier, like the day just didn't go to plan. It just unraveled really, really quickly. So I think coming into this race, I think one thing which is quite good is I'm very scared of it, which I think is a good thing, just because before I was probably a bit cocky. Now I'm definitely not. And having now over the past week, I've run the whole course and I've kind of got it into my head. I know what to expect. And I also think I hadn't really done a lot of trail before Javelina. That was like my first. I'd done trail races before, but not for like quite a few years. So building from that, like another 3-4 months of like solid training, I feel like I'm a lot better prepared going into this race than I was the previous one. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen this time around.
So what are your perceptions of the course? How do you feel like it suits your strengths and or maybe, like you said, puts a little bit of fear into you?
I don't think it suits any of my strengths.
Okay.
It's really rocky. It's really technical. It's way more technical than I thought it would be. And like everyone told me, like the second half of the course is more technical, but actually I prefer that. It's just like small rocks. The 30K to 50K bit, I found quite difficult. So I'm going to try and go and do that again this week. I do think over the past few months of training, I've got stronger on the hills. So I'm hoping that will be my strength come race day. It definitely doesn't have any of those like really fast road runner sections, although all the road runners that are now doing this race may prove me wrong come race day. But I like it that I have to like concentrate and think what I'm doing, and the trails are like twisty, turny, and you're jumping over rocks and trying not to fall into cactuses the whole day. So I find it like mentally stimulating.
I like that.
Yeah, which is cool. But yeah, I don't know if it plays to. I think the strengths, it's far.
I like that too.
There you go.
Okay, so we know that you have a golden ticket in your sights. What other goals do you have for yourself for the race day?
Yeah, I have like reframed it a little bit. I do just want to go out there and like run my own race and run really hard and know that coming to the finish line that I've given it everything. And if that happens to be a golden ticket, great. I think for a period of my training, I was like, okay, I'm going out there to get a golden ticket. That is the goal. And that was definitely the goal with Javelina, where now I'm like, actually, I just want to race really hard. I want to race well. And if I get a golden ticket, then that's great. And I think that has over like, my mind's kind of shifted only in like the last week. Taking that pressure off a little bit has made me enjoy going out on the trails a little bit more. Like last week I had a breakdown on that, being like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then I was like, Carla, just enjoy it. And then it was way more fun. So had to have a word with myself.
I love that. And I love that you were able to do that and that it like made an immediate impact, that you have been able to enjoy what you're doing. Awesome. Maybe to the enjoyment factor as well, are you using crew and or pacers?
I'm using crew. So I've got crew helping me. I think, that would be really nice to have them out on the course. And one of my friends, he's racing on the Sunday at the 50K. So he wants to come out, although I'm like, you can only come if you sit in the car at all times until like I'm into the aid stations. But I'm going to do it without pacers. I kind of feel like I want to race the race, and I don't know why, but I've just decided I don't want pacers for this one.
Okay, final question, most important question. What is your current favorite running song?
It's from Mulan, and I'll Make a Man Out of You.
I love that song. Maybe with it's like so a little good edit, but you know.
Exactly, yeah. Whoa, man. So me and my friend Zono, who's doing the 50K on the Sunday, we were both doing a long run together a couple of weeks ago, and then we spent the whole run basically singing that song and a multitude of other Disney songs. So now that feels like it's the song associated to this race.
Oh, it's a great trail running song.
Yeah.
Totally. Swift as a coursing river.
See?
I'm going to
It
edit that
works.
out. Nobody wants to hear myself.
No, you have to leave it.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. Thank you, Carla, for taking a few minutes to talk with me. I will be really excited to see you out at the race and also to watch how the day unfolds for you and watch you enjoy this course and this race and the competition and all that goes into it. So good luck with these next couple weeks, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks. See you out there.
Okay, I am hanging out with Tabor Hemming. Tabor, how are you today?
I'm great. I got to do a run this morning and the sun was out and I had great company. And so, yeah, it's a great day.
I'm excited to be talking to you about Black Canyon 100K today. I think for most of your trail running career, you have been a 50K and under superhero. You made a run at CCC this summer, but we're dealing with some Achilles issues and I think are in a different place from what I've been seeing on YouTube. I'm interested to hear, this is a very different course than CCC, and I'm interested to hear how you're doing. How are your Achilles and your heels at this point?
Yeah, so in a much better spot than they were in September, thankfully. I guess the number one thing I want to tell everyone is go get imaging done and not just physical eye observations done on things. Because unfortunately, for a long time, I had just had a misdiagnosis that it was Haglund's deformity. And turns out, no, it was just a really inflamed Achilles due to severe tendinopathy. And so I was doing all the wrong, I was being proactive and doing a lot of rehab. Unfortunately, it was the wrong type of rehab because the tendinopathy that I have is insertional Achilles. And so it acts very differently than midsection Achilles. And so, yeah, I was doing a lot of things that were aggravating it and getting really frustrated of why it wasn't getting better and thinking, nope, just, keep doing the exercises, like keep doing all this. And I just wasn't getting anywhere. And so finally I went and got imaging done. And it was like, oh, well, yeah, this is why you're not improving. You're doing everything that would aggravate an insertional Achilles problem. And so, yeah, I'm still have bad days, but I think that's kind of how an Achilles works. But for most of the time, there are really good days, and I will take that over what this summer and early fall was. So on the upward trajectory, thankfully.
So glad to hear it. I think you were kind of in the midst of this last time that we talked with world champs, and then we did a full-length interview immediately after that. For those who would like to listen, I'll link it in the show notes. Okay, so coming to Black Canyon, what inspired you to choose this race?
I think what inspired me was, first of all, I love the desert. It has a special place in my heart. I lived there when I was a child for a time when my dad was training for the U.S. Olympic rowing team. And so anytime we go back there, I just have really fond memories. It's like the perfect desert weather that time of year. And we just wanted to put something on the calendar that was important, but not necessarily like make or break the season necessarily. And so I think Black Canyon's a really great race in the schedule to do that. That for us, it's not a huge travel. And it's a fast race. So we're not having to worry about getting in a bunch of vert for this, because that's typically for us this time of year where we live really hard. And so it's a runner's course. And I think that was the most exciting thing. And I wanted to try my hand again in what now is a very competitive women's field for another 100K distance. Yeah.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Okay, talking about your training, you have been able to run a little bit more than you probably would in January outdoors and on the trails. How is your training going in general?
Yeah, it's been going really well. We've kind of gone back to our basics of having running, but only doing single sessions of running and supplementing with a lot of cross training for that, like I know everyone's around the fatigue resistance and durability term right now, but in a way, being able to do that without breaking down the body, because I feel like, especially managing the Achilles, there's only so much running I can do. And so, yeah, training has focused a lot on quality running and supplementing a lot of aerobic volume with like Nordic skiing, time on the bike, ski mowing. And yeah, there hasn't been any hiccups. I think I'm 14 weeks at above 20 hours. So we've been
great.
stacking. So yeah, I think it'll be fun to have like a break and feel fresh in a couple weeks.
I can imagine.
It's going to be nice.
So talk a little bit about you and Eli were here last year. He raced and you crewed. So you have had eyes on the course. I don't know if you've run any sections of it. What did you learn from his experience and from getting to be there that you are applying to your preparation for this year?
Yeah, he's probably not going to like to hear what I have to say, but putting your ego aside the first half of the race, I think everyone can feel really good there. It's slightly downhill. You're tapered, you're fresh, it's not that hot yet. And so I think really learning how to stay in control there when you're feeling good, because I think the race, looking from his experience last year, the race really starts at halfway. And also cooling early. We made the mistake last year of we thought starting to cool at halfway was appropriate. And I think you just kind of like start pretty immediate at your first crewable aid station. So you never are dealing with any heat. And yeah, I think those are the two biggest things: is be controlled and be cooling.
So that's a good lead into my next question. You both are racing the 100K this year, correct?
Yeah.
So what does your crew situation look like, and are you using pacers?
Yeah, so our crew is going to be my parents. They're going to come down and crew us both. So we have a backup plan if they don't make it to the second aid station in time for Eli, which is good because I just don't know if the men are running fast, how long it'll take the women. And then I will actually be getting paced by Chris Myers, our good friend, and he's going to take me from 50K all the way home. And
awesome.
Then turn around and do the 50K the next day.
Wow. Okay. I forgot that he was racing too. Yeah. Wow.
So he's going to get a big weekend.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Okay. What are your personal goals for this race?
My personal goals are to finish the race feeling like I competed well in a strong, very strong field of women. And, just being in the mix again. I think I've been really good at being at the mix in 50Ks, and that feels good. And I've shown on a national level, at least, that I'm a contender there. And so I just want to be able to show that I can step up to this distance and be a force to be reckoned with on a runnable course. And so, yeah, I don't know place or time-wise what that'll look like. I'm not really focused on that. I just want to go out and, have fun running with people for a while.
So I have to ask the question because it is a golden ticket race. There are 3 golden tickets available. And I'm really curious about your answer. If one happened to come to you, would you accept it?
I think I would have to make that decision at about 50 miles into the race. 100 miles is a huge step up. And I realize that it takes a lot of maturity to run that distance. And so I think I'm just trying to take this race and see how that feels. And if I even, like running 8+ hours. And yeah, I don't know if it's presented to me if I would say yes or no. I think it would be a heat of the moment decision, to be honest.
Fair. Yeah. That's a fair answer. Okay. Most important question, my favorite question. What is your current favorite running song?
Yeah, I'll give a much better answer than last time because I have a feeling no one probably listened to that song unless they were like 60 and over. But right now, I've really been jamming to WAP.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Cardi B, right? It's not Nicki Minaj. I don't know. Maybe they're both in it. I don't really care. It's usually on repeat on the treadmill. And yeah, it's just pretty provocative and really, gets you going.
I dig it. Very different than your answer last time.
Very different. I have a big range of musical interests.
I love it. I love it. But that's why we ask this question, because even just across the preview episode, like the styles are eclectic, and I really love. I think my favorite piece of this is hearing that, like, if we've done this more than once, how your taste and your style changes for each training block. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Tabor, thank you so much for joining me. We'll be excited to see you out there in a couple weeks. I hope the rest of your training stays dry, and good luck at the race if I don't see you beforehand.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Hey folks, quick interruption to make sure to say thank you to Open Fuel for supporting the Women of Distance podcast. Open Fuel is responsible sports nutrition to fuel your adventure. Check them out at openfuel.co. Right now, I'm loving their Ultra Fuel drink mix with 60 grams of carbs and 500 milligrams of sodium all in one serving. Soon they'll also be adding a gel mix to their product lineup. Again, check them out at openfuel.co and use code WOD to get 20% off your order every time and support the podcast at the same time. Find the link and the code in the show notes. I am hanging out with Sophie Shunk, preparing for the Black Canyon 100K. Sophie, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I am excited to chat. I've been following your journey a little bit over the past several months at least. You are a road runner, Olympic marathon trials qualifier, systematically, it seems, making your way over to the trails and to ultra. You were recently third at the Kodiak 50K and coming to Black Canyon, not only for your first time, but for your first 100K. So my first question, I'm interested in both what inspired you to take that step to the 100K and also why at Black Canyon.
Yeah, great question. I think actually chatting with my coach, I'm coached by Matt Daniels. He's obviously won Black Canyon 100K before. After Kodiak, obviously the goal for this year is going to be OCC. I think I have a lot more to learn in the 50K. But I've been curious about longer, and I think I've just, for the first time ever, been loving volume in my training. I historically haven't called myself a volume runner, but kind of figured out the balance of recovery, trails, and whatnot. So when I brought up the potential of doing 100K, he's like, well, I don't want you to do it closer to OCC. Rather you like kind of just do like roll from your Kodiak into it, and Black Canyon would be perfect for me as like primarily a road runner in the past and just still loving the speed of it. And obviously very runnable. It's close to me. I'm in New Mexico. So yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. And I just reached out to the race director, and I think it solidified the decision when they're like, sure, come on in. So yeah.
Awesome. I love to hear that. So in addition to volume, talk a little bit about how your training has changed to prepare for this, both again for the distance and for the course itself.
Yeah, great question as well. So I think also spinballing off of your first question, part of what inspires me a lot and what I just like to do as a person in general is find new challenges. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so that makes everything much more complicated, but also wants me to like just keep trying new things, trying harder things, trying longer things, so that I can inspire and coach others living with diabetes to do the same, and that we really can do these things. It just takes a lot more diligence around fueling and time on feet and just practicing for that and anything that can happen. So I think in terms of current training, I've never been able to sustain over 80, 90 mile weeks for, I think, since December. And I had like my first kind of 100-mile week, other than the one stage race I do each year, which is like 6 days, 120 miles. That's the only other time I've gone over 100 miles, but I've been able to hit that in this block kind of in the middle of training, which is just kind of speaks to everything I've had to learn over the past few years in terms of dealing with injury recovery, sleep, nutrition, managing my diabetes. So training's been going well, and I still hit the gym all the time. I cross train. I just got back from a ski trip. I think all of that really is important. I mean, I would go for a run, and I was with a bunch of girls who are all just like super athletic too. So we'd run, we'd cross country ski, we'd downhill. And I think that those long days of just doing multiple sports and having fun with it is perfect 100K training, I hope.
I love that. I love that. I wish that this was not such a short interview and we had more time to dive into that a little bit. I will make sure to link your Instagram in the show notes for anyone who wants to go follow. You really are an advocate for type 1 diabetics and do a really good job of just educating too for those who are not but are interested in what goes into it and like how endurance sport fits into the picture for you. And maybe that is a piece of my next question in terms of both crew and pacers. And I'm sure how fueling looks for you plays into that decision about how you set up your crew and pacers and all of that sort of thing. So what does that plan look like for you?
Yeah, I only laugh because I'll be honest, I snoozed, not even realizing I get pacers in 100K. And, but as you, so I was just like laughing. As of now, I still don't have a pacer. So I think I'm just doing it. I mean, I had a couple ideas of friends who have ran with me quite often and done some of my long runs with me, but it's Valentine's Day and they've got things to do. So but yeah, so like you said, crew is extremely important. And so like at Kodiak, I had one of my type 1s who's a part of my nonprofit, Casey, crew me, and he understands like the options I might need, like at a crew station or an aid station, and he actually can follow my Dexcom, which is my glucose monitor. It's on my arm, and see like what number I'm at coming into like aid station, so I can have like a low carb, high carb option, potentially need insulin. For this one, I do not have a type 1 crew me, but I actually have my boyfriend coming down from Canada, and he's done a bunch of runs with me. He's also a doctor, so he'll be following my glucose, and kind of the same type of thing is like he'll have to like look at my numbers, and if I'm on the higher end, I definitely need to focus on hydration but still eating, especially in 100K, because at that 3.5 hour mark, I've learned like it just, no matter what, your blood sugar starts dropping. So constant drip of different types of carbs, they all absorb differently. So low glycemic, high glycemic, some fat and protein mixed in becomes really important, just that mix of fuel. So I'll have him, and then I'll have two of my other girlfriends who are runners. Both of them have done Black Canyon before, I believe. So it'll be my friend Brittany, and she's also from Canada, and my friend Andrea from Albuquerque. So they're both historically ultra runners, know kind of the distance that I don't necessarily know the course. So it'll be really helpful to have them there.
That's awesome. That's fascinating that your crew can have access to your numbers and how you're looking as you're coming in. I can imagine that's hugely helpful to take that brain piece off of your shoulders a little bit and be able to have someone manage that for you as you come into each aid station. This is a loaded question. What are your goals for this race?
I think what I have boiled it down to is why not? I think have nothing to lose my focus. I really want to be on OCC, but at the same time, I think my training's gone better than I expected it to go. I've been really consistent, really healthy, been sleeping, I've been traveling, but I've made travel work for me. And so I think, why not? I've raced some really competitive females at Kodiak, and this is even deeper. And so I think I've never really truly had a chance to line myself up against them. And so I am willing to just go for it.
I love it. I love it. I have to ask the question. There are 3 golden tickets available at this race. If one were to come to you, would you take it? Take that step up to 100 miles?
Absolutely. Probably against my better judgment, but
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Okay. All right. Last question, most important question. What is your current favorite running song?
It changes every single day, and I knew you were going to ask this question. I've gone back to like old school Limp Bizkit, Take a Look Around, and then I also Brian Dune and Living the Dream, Dylan Gossett. So I'm all over the spectrum. But
okay, I love it. An eclectic mix is the way to do it. It's a long day out there. The mood is going to change. What you need is going to change. Mm-hmm. I love it. Awesome. All right, Sophie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I hope these last couple weeks go well for you. The taper goes smoothly, and we'll see you out there on race day, and we'll be cheering you on. Okay, I am hanging out with Eleni Matarisi. Thank you for joining me today, just a few weeks before Black Canyon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be included in the race preview.
I am so excited to chat. I think you have a very interesting story and build up to what brings you to Black Canyon. Just to real quick give an introduction for those who may or may not have heard your name before. You ran collegiately at Harvard. You have also recently run a 241 marathon at CIM just a couple months ago. We're going to get into that story just real quick here in a minute. And you have done several sub-ultra trail races, a few 50Ks, and are stepping up to your first 100K at the Black Canyon 100K. So let me go there first. What brings you to Black Canyon and the 100K distance?
So I think after my last 50K, I raced the Kodiak Big Bear 50K. Leading up to it, I was thinking about kind of wanting to try the longer distances. I'm pretty new to trail and ultra running in general, and I thought 100K could be a fun next challenge to try, but didn't want to jump up too soon because I've been enjoying the 50Ks and obviously have a lot more progress to make there too. But after the last mile of the 50K, I think I really just felt strong and I finished and I was like, I feel like maybe I could have kept going. Maybe I should try the longer distances. So I looked into, I've been considering Black Canyon before. I love Arizona and I've spent summers in Flagstaff training at altitude in the past. That's actually where I'm living right now. And it's pretty close to the course. So it's given me the opportunity to train on the course a little bit. But I went on the website and it was full. So I put myself on the wait list and I was like, well, if I get off the wait list, then it's a sign it's meant to be. And I'll do it. Otherwise, I will wait a little bit longer to try the 100K. So I did end up getting off the wait list. And I'm very happy I did because I'm feeling pretty excited to get to try Black Canyon 100K.
Awesome. Okay, let's revisit real quick. You ran Kodiak, and then shortly thereafter, you went to CIM. This was your first road marathon. Tell us real quick what you were doing there, what you were chasing specifically.
Yeah, so I originally, after graduating, I knew I wanted to keep running in some capacity because I was really enjoying it. And I'm also currently applying to medical school, but taking a gap year. So at this point in my life, I do have the time to devote to keep training. So I signed up for CIM a while back before I had even discovered trail racing. And so I originally was doing it as a fundraiser for the organization Girls on the Run. And it was my attempt to break the world record for the fastest marathon run in a skirt as a part of this fundraiser. So I did get the world record, which was really fun. It was awesome. Raised a lot of money for Girls on the Run in the process, which was super meaningful for me to be able to do. So leading up to the race wasn't really training for a road marathon because I had ended up doing Kodiak just a little over a month before. And I kind of went into it with the attitude of it would be good training. It would be a fun kind of long effort, but surprised myself with the outcome. So I think I definitely will want to try at some point another road marathon in the future. But I think right now my heart is on the trails.
Love to hear it. Both sides of that. Okay, so talk a little bit coming out of CIM. How has your training changed to prepare specifically both for the Black Canyon course and for the 100K distance?
So actually so leading up to Kodiak, I was kind of just doing my own thing, training, running a lot, but not having a super structured specific training. I started just maybe a little over a month before CIM working with a new coach. And he has been the best in helping me feeling very prepared and confident for the 100K and also just encouraging me that this is something that I can do. So I'd say the biggest thing that's been new has been more longer efforts, more like kind of back-to-back long run type efforts. And also I have, at least the past few weeks since I've been in Arizona, been actually doing some training on the course. So getting a feel for what the course is going to be like, what it feels like to run certain paces. Also practicing a lot, focusing on the fueling and planning how I'm going to do that during the race, fueling, hydration, nailing down all those details, because I think that's what is the biggest make or break factor over these longer distances. Because I know, I mean, at least I believe I'm well prepared as long as I have all of those things nailed down.
So, talk a little bit about that strategy and preparation and what you've learned through the training, through your time on the course. Is there anything that you have observed about the course or about what you foresee for the race itself that plays into your strategy and prep for the day, for the race day?
Yeah. So I think running on the course has been super, super beneficial just because I can feel certain sections. I think also being someone with a little less trail experience, some of the more technical sections are more difficult for me to run fast on. So practicing that, but also knowing what parts maybe I can push the envelope a little bit more and what parts maybe are going to be a little bit slower. And also just making sure I don't exceed certain effort level too early on in the race, because I think that's how things could go downhill quickly too, especially with the first part of the course definitely being the fastest. I think it would be very easy to start too fast and blow up later. So that's something I want to be wary of for sure. And being able to finish out the last quarter of the race pretty strong, feeling good, that would be one of my primary goals.
That's good strategy and good information you're getting there. Talk a little bit about maybe kind of circling around to fueling and execution on the day. Do you have a crew, and also will you be using pacers?
Yeah, so I actually I've been working with Blank Sports Nutrition. They're like a local Flagstaff based brand. And I have a lot of my friends before I started working with the company. I mean, they're kind of how I got in contact with them originally. Work for Blanks, and I honestly do really love the product. They're the reason that I originally found it, but I've loved it and it's been great using throughout the race. So some of my friends who work at Blanks are going to help with the crewing. My mom, who has been my primary crew woman throughout all these races, and one of my biggest supporters, is also going to help with that crewing. And then some friends, one of my friends from SoCal Trail is going to be helping out. And then I think tentatively to be confirmed, my friend Will is potentially going to pace me for at least the last segment.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So very, very grateful to have a lot of great friends and supporters that are going to help me out. I think like having the transitions, getting what I need at the aid stations, having that be efficient is a big thing for me too.
Yeah, it makes a difference in a competitive race like this too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your goals for the day. You mentioned that you really want to stay conservative in the beginning. You really want to finish the last quarter feeling strong. What other personal goals do you have for yourself for the day?
I think it being my first 100K, I don't want to set expectations too high. And it's something like I want to enjoy the journey. I think that's a big goal. But that being said, I also am the type of person that in whatever I do, I want to do it well and I want to do the best I can. So I think I'm going to hopefully finish. And if I finish, come away with a 100K PR, which would be awesome. But running on the course and getting a feel for different paces and knowing the paces that it's going to take to be competitive, I would love to at least try to put myself in a spot where I can be competitive with some of the amazing women out there.
So that is the loaded question. We know that this is a golden ticket race and there are 3 golden tickets available. If one of them were to come to you, would you accept it and take that step to 100 miles at Western States?
yeah, I think that's the kind of thing that I couldn't turn down. So if I had my perfect day and that did happen, I would absolutely accept it.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Okay, Eleni, last question, most important question. What is your current favorite running song?
Ooh, this is hard because I have a lot of really good favorite running songs. I minored in music in college, so I'm a big music geek. I've really loved Victory Lap by Fred again. That's a good one, good beat to run to.
Okay.
I also really love Killer Queen by Queen. That's one of my classics. And Glorious, Macklemore, and Skylar Grey. I know that's not one, but those are the big three that I like.
Awesome. I love those. This is the second Fred again reference too out of the
Oh, no
elite
way,
interviews,
yeah.
so that's fun.
That's
Awesome. Awesome. It was really great to get to meet you and get to hear just a short piece of your story. We'll be really looking forward to how things go for you at Black Canyon, seeing you out at the race, and good luck with these last couple weeks of training before then.
Thank you so much. It was great getting to meet you, and thank you again for having me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I am hanging out with Sydney Welch ahead of the Black Canyon 100K. Sydney, how are you doing?
Hey Lauren, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking your time. Quick intro for those who may be meeting you for the first time, just some recent results to catch us up to speed before Black Canyon. You earlier this summer were the champion of the Crested Butte 50 mile and then came down in distance and came down to the desert and or the champion of the Tucson Marathon. Now preparing for your first time at Black Canyon and also your first 100K. And that is my first question. What brings you both to Black Canyon specifically and to the 100K distance?
Yes, well, I'm fairly new to ultra running, and so I feel like I just kind of wanted to try everything and like all the distances and then see, kind of what I like from there. So I've done like 250Ks, 150 miler, and I knew I wanted to try 100K this year, and so that was something I was definitely looking for. And so one of the ways that I kind of got into ultra running is just through exposure through my husband works in the industry. He works for Hoka, and so getting to go to events with him, including Western States a couple years ago, has just really influenced my journey into ultra running, and just being really like welcomed by the community has made me want to try 100K and specifically Black Canyon, knowing that, whenever we go to Hoka races, it feels like just going to see friends because everybody that works the events are just great people that I've gotten to know. And so part of going to Black Canyon is a little bit of a comfort knowing that I'll see lots of familiar faces. And then one of the other reasons why I chose Black Canyon and kind of bringing in the marathon here when I just moved to Colorado in the past year and making new running friends, and naturally, you chat about what races you're training for and what you're doing. And I was training for the 50 miler and then had a quick turnaround for the road marathon that was really just to go to a race with friends. And I met some other runners that were also doing December marathons and training into Black Canyon from there. And so kind of made some training buddies, Jenna Bensko, who I know you've talked to, included in that. And she really encouraged me to do Black Canyon after the December road marathon. So getting to share miles and just train together has been a really big influence on me choosing to go to Black Canyon. I really love training in the desert, running in the desert, and of course the competition is very compelling. It's one thing to go to these like small, fun Colorado races and, do really well. It's another thing to go to a big race and just see where you stack up. So that does motivate me as well. So that was a lot, but mostly just for the community and the competition is why I chose to go to Black Canyon.
I love that. So, spinning off of the marathon, it sounds like a lot of people have a similar sort of method this year, just in your own community, in your own sphere of influence. Talk a little bit about how training is going coming off of that marathon and taking that into a 100-mile training block.
Yeah, the road marathon to Black Canyon Pipeline seems to be pretty popular, which is fun. Creates a lot of camaraderie there. I think when people talk about these runnable ultra marathons, people talk a lot about road speed and how important that can be. And I think for me, training for the road marathon was a really good time just to build fitness. Maybe speed isn't like always the right word for what you get in a road marathon training block, but fitness, I think, definitely is built through the type of training that's required to run a marathon well. And so, just in the last few months, training for the road marathon was like a really intentional time to build that fitness. And then in the last few weeks, really just starting to build like specific or add in specific training specific to Black Canyon with a lot of downhill and more trails, of course. Another side of that is I tend to be like a dabbler. So like training for road marathon doesn't seem as fun if I'm like always on the road. So I still did a lot of trail running, and then training for a big trail race doesn't seem as fun unless I do some fast or just some workouts on the road as well. So it definitely appeals to me to do that like marathon training block into a trail race. So I do think the road fitness and the trail specificity go hand in hand, and they can help each other. And I think I was a stronger marathon runner because of getting into ultra running, and then hopefully be a better ultra runner after some road fitness. So we'll see.
Keep the variety, keeps you from getting bored in any one format or one type of training.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about that specificity toward Black Canyon, obviously including some downhill work in your training block. What other things are you doing specifically to prepare for this race or this course? And maybe to go along with that, what kind of things have you learned about the race and about the course from that community who inspired you to go?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Other things that I've been doing in order to build for Black Canyon, nothing super crazy or different. I did start working with a coach, so that's been really helpful just to have that influence in that direction. And being able to trust someone else with training is really helpful. And not always having to like second guess if I'm doing the right kind of training is really nice for my brain. Running with people who have done well at the race before and have run the course several times is really helpful too. And it's nothing like, I don't think there's any like big secret that you learn from anybody who's done a big race like this before. Like, it's just little things like when I run with Jenna and she'll say like, oh, this trail that we're on right now is like pretty similar to Black Canyon, like pretty similar to the race course. That's helpful for me just because like visualization is something I try to do before the race. So I like to like know what I'm getting into, and having never run on the actual like Black Canyon trail, that's super helpful to know like, okay, some of these trails that we're running every day like look like what this race course is going to look like. And then I would say the marathon race day actually helped me work on some things that will definitely look different on race day, but like cooling and fueling running at that kind of pace. On marathon race day, just having that mentality of like taking care of the little things and taking time to take care of the little things when it doesn't always feel like you should, or that maybe it's not the best, like the fastest if you slow down for a little bit to like grab a cup of water and pour it on yourself. it's just, I think that gave me an opportunity to focus on like the mental side of being okay with taking a little bit extra time to take care of the things that are going to get you through the rest of the race. So that's been key for me, especially never having run 100K, knowing that I'm going to have to take care of like all the little things in order to get there. So being able to talk to people too that have like gone to the race and done well, and like how they manage little things like that has been helpful, because I feel like that's the piece where like, yeah, you can run, all the miles, do all the training, but if you don't take care of the little things, especially in ultra marathons, like you're probably not going to have a good day. So that's kind of what I've been doing a little differently.
Totally. I love those learnings. Talk a little bit about maybe spinning off of that. Are you using crew? What does your crew setup look like? And are you planning to use pacers?
Yeah. My husband Drew is going to be most of my crew. I have some other friends that are also coming that are going to be part of our crew. I'm planning not to have a pacer. I do have someone potential, Sarah Beal, who you've had on the pod before. She's
awesome.
A potential pacer that might be joining me, but current plan is no pacer. So if she joins me, that'll be really, really fun. And if not, it's all good. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's what my crew looks like.
Okay, loaded question. What are your personal goals for this race?
My personal goals, I see Black Canyon as just a huge learning opportunity for me. Never having run the 100K distance or a big competitive race like this, I think it'll be really interesting just to learn how to manage things over a long period of time. I've never done a race with crew before either, so that's new. We're learning how to just plan that out. And like I mentioned before, like trying a new distance to see if I like it, if I'm good at it. This past year, I mostly did more mountainous races as well, like up pretty high. That 50 miler was pretty much all above 10,000 feet. And I realized like, I think I want to live up high and train up high to race low instead of racing up high. So seeing how I do on a course that's a little bit lower elevation and more runnable, I think it'll be interesting to see like if I like that and if I'm good at it. So mostly just learning. And I would like to, another goal is just to feel good, whatever that looks like, and be proud of, what I run that day. So
I love that. Okay, I have to ask the question because there are 3 golden tickets available at this race. If one were to come to you, I know this is your first 100K and part of it is learning if you like that distance. Would you accept a golden ticket if one came your way?
I don't think I could turn a golden ticket down if it came my way. So definitely not chasing it, but if one were offered, I don't think I could turn it down. No.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Okay, Sydney, last question. This is maybe the hardest question I have for you. What is your current favorite running song?
That is such a good question. My current favorite running song is a song that was kind of like a pump up song for me for this past year in a lot of races. It's called Make of It by the band Half Alive. It's a jam, and it's kind of about like your circumstances are what you make of them. So great running inspiration there. So yeah, you'll have to listen to it. It's good.
Love it. Love it. All right. Sydney, thank you so much for taking your time. It was a real privilege to meet you, and wish you the best of luck here over the next just under 2 weeks at this point until race day, and safe travels down. Good luck in the race. We will see you out there shortly.
Thanks, Lauren. I'll see you there.
I am hanging out with Imogen Ainsworth today. Imogen, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you so much for being here and taking your time. We're just a couple weeks out from the Black Canyon 100K. Want to give a real quick introduction for those who may or may not know your name. Just recently, you were second at the Leadville 100 mile this year. You were also then third at the Kodiak 100K. Last year, you raced the Black Canyon 50K and you were fourth, coming back now this time for your first time at the Black Canyon 100K. That is where I'm going to start my questions. What made you choose Black Canyon and the 100K distance specifically?
Yeah, I think it's a combo of things. So I really enjoyed the 50K last year and was kind of intrigued by running the longer distance, although at the time it seemed like impossible to run another 50K after doing that 50K. But I have a group of friends from Salida here. I live in the Arkansas Valley in Colorado, and there's a small group of us going out, kind of a mixture of 50K and 100K runners. And part of me was kind of like, why not? And also it's cool to be in these like big competitive races, hopefully just, get destroyed by a whole bunch of other women, which is exciting. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. How has your training changed to prepare specifically for the Black Canyon course and the conditions in the desert February? Is there anything that you do specifically in your training to prepare for that?
Yeah. Honestly, like not anything super specific. Through the winter here, we're really lucky in that we can run trails year round, and this year, maybe not so lucky, has been particularly dry. So we've been on the trail system in Salida all winter. I think they're pretty similar to the trails in Black Canyon. So just kind of maybe trying to integrate a few more strong downhills to prepare for running after that first 50K net downhill. I think it took me a week to walk again after the 50 last year, so to be able to run, to keep running, I just want to make sure my legs are kind of strong and prepared for the downs. In the winter, I always try and do a bit more biking too, so that's been just part of my training as well. Yeah.
Okay, and how do you feel like your training is going, just in a general sense?
I think it's going pretty good. We were talking about, the pros and cons of being able to run all winter versus kind of being forced off the trails for a little bit. And, I've had some knee niggles here and there, but nothing major. And I'm excited to, see where I'm at. It's early season. But yeah, I think generally all in all pretty good.
It sounds like you really learned something last year in the way that you ran the 50K and how you want to prepare now for the 100K. Is there anything else specific that you feel like you learned about the course that you've been applying to your prep this year for the 100K?
I think just the fast start can catch up with you. So I think, I ran I think the marathon time for the 50K was the same as the first road marathon that I ran many years ago. And the first couple of miles were definitely faster than I'd been running pretty much that whole winter leading up to it. So I think just trying to go out a little bit more controlled, knowing that there's just, long further to run. And then also, like I said, I've just been doing a little bit more kind of like faster, harder downhill training to try and harden up my legs a little bit to keep going after that initial fast start.
Okay, loaded question. What are your personal goals for this race?
I'm not good at setting goals for races. I think I'd like to, have fun as much as possible. I think I run well when I'm having fun. My A goal is always finish the race and see how I feel during it and kind of adjust as I'm going along. It's like such a competitive field. It kind of feels like top 20 would be really great. Obviously, I'd love to finish a little bit higher than that, but I think just see how it goes on the day.
I love that answer. I have to ask, there are 3 golden tickets available in this race. If one were to come to you, would you accept?
I think something crazy would have to happen for that to be the case for me, but I'm also entered in CCC this year, so that's going to be my main focus for the summer this year. So I think the answer to that is probably no. I've entered Javelina as well, and I think 100 a year is probably pretty good for me at this point. Leadville was my first. It's a long way. Yeah,
it is a long way. Yes. Okay. Speaking of it being a long way, do you have crew, and are you going to use pacers?
Yeah, my friend Brandon is coming out to crew, and friend Corey is going to pace, I think, for 10 miles. We have yeah, a little group of us coming out from this part of Colorado, so it'll be fun to have people around. Some people are running the 50K, so while they won't be crewing, they'll be kind of like trying to stay in the shade a little bit, but I think out on the course supporting too, so that'll be fun.
Awesome. Okay, last question, my most important question. What is your current favorite running song?
Yeah, I agonized over this a lot, and it's really difficult for me to pick one. I've been listening to a lot of the band Idols. I don't know, probably not that many people will have heard of them, but they're like an English, British, like post-punk band, and they have a song called Dancer and another called The End that have been kind of like my, if I need to feel invincible, that's what I put on my headphones during a run. So.
Okay. All right. I have not heard either of those, so I will definitely check them out after we get off. Good choices. All right. All right, Imogen, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with me today. I really appreciated getting to know you, and we'll wish you the best here over the next couple weeks and see you out there on race day.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. I am hanging out with Deanna Doan ahead of the Black Canyon 100K. Deanna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you? I'm excited to just be on here and chat about all things trail running and Black Canyon.
I am excited to connect. Just to give a brief intro for those who may or may not have heard your name before, you are the overall FKT holder on the Florida Trail, 1,500 miles of trail across is maybe not even the right word, traversing the state of Florida. More recently, you are also second at the Coldwater Rumble 60K just a week or two ago, and you are lining up for your first time at the Black Canyon 100K. So that is my first question for you. What inspired you to come to Black Canyon?
So, if I'm being fully honest, it 100% was influenced by my friend Brianna Grigsby, who lives here in Tucson. That's where I'm staying. I've been out here, about a month before the race just to finish up my training. I want to say back in April or May last year, we were just chatting and she, offered, if I wanted to do Black Canyon, she would crew me and pace me. And she's run the race herself about 7 times. And I never really thought about it. Like I've run so many I just run a lot of races. I love running, one, and I do love racing and competing a little bit too, but I've never towed the line for such a large, highly competitive race. And so the idea, it just seemed like the next, big challenge to me to do. And so I signed up and here we are. The race is a couple weeks away. So it's kind of crazy.
So talk a little bit about how your training is going and maybe also like any adjustments or changes that you've made to your training to make it specific for Black Canyon and racing in the desert.
Sure. So I'm from Florida. And so a lot of my training before I got out here has been, in Florida, it's pretty flat, not a lot of uphill or downhill. And so a lot of my training there was just uphill treadmill workouts. And honestly, focusing on more, speed work, longer threshold efforts, uphill treadmill threshold efforts, workouts like that, and just starting to build, more volume. I don't have a crazy, I'm not out here running, 100-mile weeks like, these elite athletes. I just don't have the time, or physical capacity for that matter. That type of, volume would probably get me injured, but I've been working with, between 60 to 80-mile weeks, for the last couple months, just building and, doing those type of workouts. And now that I've been out here for a few weeks, I've actually been getting in, both uphill and really downhill, workouts, which are really important considering the whole race is a net downhill. So
yeah, talk a little bit about with the time that you've spent in Arizona. Have you actually been out on the course yet?
Yes. So I finally, just a few days ago, I did the last Black Canyon training run hosted by Aravaipa. And so that was wonderful because I got to do the last, 25 miles of the course. They provided shuttle services. My friend Brianna has introduced me to some of her trail running friends out here. And so, she couldn't make it. So I got to meet up with some of her friends and do the run with them. So far I've done just the last 25 miles of the course, which just for me, getting eyes on the course and understanding, at what point in my race this is going to look like and feel like helps me tremendously to mentally prepare. And this weekend, I'm hoping to do more sections of the course for my long runs this weekend before I start tapering.
Okay, so maybe this question's a little premature, but this is when we're talking. So, from your perception of the course so far, how do you think that influences maybe some of your strategy and the way you prepare for race day itself?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I mean, just being out here alone and just getting to run on these desert trails where, it's, they're really technical, like rocky, like little rocks and stuff. Definitely not used to that. East Coast, we have technical trails. Not so much in Florida, but, I've spent a lot of time in, North Georgia, North Carolina, and it's more rooty stuff. And so dealing with all the rocks is challenging. But it's helped me seeing some of these, like longer climbs at the end of the race too, to know, okay, the first half has a lot more downhill and then the last half has more uphill, and to really just have a smart race for me and not get so caught up in the field and feeling like I need to be, like up in the front with, certain people. Like I need to honor, my race goals and my, following my race plan and just having a smart race above all else.
So that leads perfectly into my next question. What are your personal goals for this race?
So I want, just being realistic, I'd love just 9.5 hours is my goal. I don't have a certain placement goal. A lot of people have asked me if I'm chasing, a golden ticket, and, I just want to be realistic with, my own capabilities and knowing myself and where my training's at. I've grown very comfortable racing, 50Ks. 100K is a little bit longer. There's a lot more unknown factors, thrown in there. And so 9.5 hours or faster would be fantastic. I think if I'm having a really good day, I think 9 hours would be wonderful. But also, just play into the day. And if I'm having a good day, just race based off of that. That being said, in my training, I did have a really bad ankle roll back in November, which it definitely put me down for a couple weeks. And those were a couple weeks where I was really hoping to hit, just bigger, just training weeks. And it's not just the training part, but honestly, just that in itself has hurt a lot of my confidence in my just trail running, and especially downhill trail running. Because now I'm more cautious on downhills. Now that it was a pretty severe roll, and sprain. And so now it's, obviously the ankle now is weaker than it used to be, just trying to be aware not to, re-roll it and get hurt. And so, I think initially my goals into the race were a little more ambitious, but I think now I'm just being more realistic. I think, that 9 to 9.5 hour range will be good for me.
Awesome. I have to ask the question because it is on the table. If a golden ticket were to come your way, would you accept it?
That's also a really good question. And I don't know. So Western States is one of my goals for sure. This will be my 5th year entering the lottery. And I'll be honest, I have so many other like just fun races and like B-goal races this year that just look fun for me. I don't know if I really want to race Western States yet, because one, I want to get better at running 100 miles. Like if I ever, if I want to run Western States, I want to be confident in my ability to run that distance well on a course with, that much climbing and whatnot. But on the same side, it's like, if I got a golden ticket, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I probably would say yes, just because what an opportunity, and then I would trash my other races and FKT goals for next year.
I love that long-term view though, and sort of building yourself up and preparing to put yourself into that event. That's a neat perspective. I like it.
Yeah. Well, naturally, I know just eventually, and it might, this is year 5, and statistically it takes, like 8 to 10 years really to get in. And I'm young enough and healthy enough and recover enough now. I'm like, I know there's, there's so much time, so many races, they're not going anywhere, that I just,
Totally.
I have lots of goals and I just love running.
So easy to get caught up in the FOMO of the moment, though. Back to the short-term view. Will you have crew and are you using pacers?
Yes and yes. I will have a small crew of 2 people. So it'll be my friend Brianna and my friend Zach Spino from Florida is going to fly out here and they're going to crew me and they're both going to pace me for the last bit. So
Oh, awesome. Split duties on both. I love it. That's cool.
yeah. Initially, it was going to be just Brianna. She was like, I can do it. And I was like, and she was going to pace me too. And I'm like, well, you need help. I would, I want to get someone else out here to just help you because that'd be a lot on one person. And I'm really not a needy runner. I very seldom ever have crew for a race. I love drop bags and I can, but a race like this, it's so fast and competitive. And I do want to race, and competitively race, the field and see what happens and see what I am truly capable of. And so having, their support will mean everything to me.
I love it. I love it. Okay, final question. This is the most important question, maybe the hardest question too. What is your current favorite running song?
Hardest question. Oh my gosh. It really depends on the mood. I feel like so when you told me you were gonna ask like hype songs, like initially when I think of any hype song, like I think of like classic rock, like one like Thunderstruck,
Oh,
AC/DC.
yeah.
That's just you can't go wrong. But I feel like if I'm feeling like more gangster, like anything by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, one or what's Let's Go by Trick Daddy and like Lil Jon. Just like, let's go, let's like I don't know.
I
Those are
love it.
great like hype songs if I'm ever like down and I need just like to feel like I'm worth anything right now. Just like, yes, get hyped, feel gangster, also represent East Coast.
I love it. I love it. Great choices. All right, Deanna, thank you so much for taking your time with me. I wish you a healthy taper and an easy taper, and we'll look forward to meeting you and seeing you out at the Black Canyon course.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yay.
Mhm.
Awesome.